All right, gang, another deals focused video for you today. And I'm talking about the Gucci Alchemist Garden fragrances. There's some really awesome deals on these fragrances. And I haven't been speaking about these fragrances for a while. I'm actually going to do a deep dive video on the entire collection, maybe towards the end of next month. I've got it on the list to do. But I want to highlight some really awesome deals for these fragrances right now in case you're in the market to buy something for yourself that you've heard about, and or maybe you're gonna gift somebody one of these fragrances. So Gucci's Alchemist Garden collection fragrances came out in 2019. They were originally created by, a lot of them were created by Alberto Morillas. In fact, most of these might be Alberto Morillas, but I think later on they started working with other perfumers, and I think it was the previous Gucci creative director that was specifically working with Alberto Morillas to launch all the fragrances. But there's some good stuff here. I've spoken about them, like this first one, The Last Day of Summer. I actually have a video on this fragrance. It's actually a review of this fragrance, actually. And it's probably one of the best in the series. I find it to be woody, spicy, aromatic, and capturing autumn perfectly. It's an autumn fragrance. And I think this has nutmeg, cypress, woods. There's definitely an ambery experience in there as well, and definitely a fragrance that if you like aromatics, woods, spices, maybe some light ambery touches, I think this will satisfy. This is probably one of the more masculine ones in this collection that I'm going to talk to you about, and masculine outside of oud, because there's an oudi, maybe a couple of oudi fragrances here, which I personally consider oud to be very masculine. But if you like a really great quality offering, I think I haven't smelled a fragrance like this anywhere. In fact, it's definitely one of my favorites from the Alchemist Garden. It's 100 ml for $157. The Last Day of Summer. It does come in these really wonderful apothecary-like bottles. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Go catch my full review of it. I shot it many years ago, actually, but it's online. But the next one I'm going to talk to you about is the Song of the Rose, A Song of the Rose. This is the clear bottle in blue. This is currently 100 ml 154 for a tester, full presentation for 200. These actually retail for over $400 now. And actually, since a few years ago, or maybe a year ago, they started making 50 ml bottles of these. But for the longest time, it was just a 100 ml bottle. So this is A Song for the Rose. It's a gorgeous rose, and it's Alberto Morillas, and it kind of reminds me of the Rose Exaltante that I spoke about recently for the Mise en Cire heavily discounted fragrances. They're not identical, but there's some similarities between the two. This one doesn't remind me as much as that fragrance reminded me of the Scent Memories that I had with the Rose Exaltante, but this is also a really gorgeous rose fragrance. Super spicy, not super jammy, somewhat dry, but there's some jammy qualities in there. There's spices, and there's maybe some green notes in there as well. And, you've got woods and maybe some earthy notes. I think there might be some patchouli-like notes in the base, but I feel like it's not super strong. Definitely one of the best in the collection. I'm highlighting some of the ones that I really enjoy first here. Then we've got the Voice of the Snake. So this was outside of the Last Day of Summer. This is probably one of the more masculine ones. This is actually selling for $224 for 100 ml. So it's not really discounted, but definitely almost 50% off the suggested retail price if these are currently selling at $400 plus. So this is to me, I get a nutty quality with this one. I don't know why. And I think it's just the woods and the kind of oud that they're using here. This is not an animalic oud. It's a Western oud. It's an easy-to-wear oud, but it's got smoky touches, earthy touches, maybe some amber in the base. For sure, lots of spices. This one does not have any rose whatsoever. But you can layer the two together. And I feel like with the Voice of the Snake versus A Song for the Rose, Voice of the Snake is much stronger, so you would have to have a nice balance for the rose to work with the amount of the Voice of the Snake. But Yeah, I think you can definitely get away with layering the two because I think there's room for layering with these fragrances. But again, this is dark, smoky, woody, spicy, and lightly ambery with the oud there, the oud accord. So that's the voice of the snake from Gucci. Then we've got a midnight, I should say that's 100 ml 224. A midnight stroll is the next one I'm going to talk to you about. This is currently selling for 100 ml 158 for a tester. So it's a tester size. So testers might not come with full presentations, by the way. But in the end, this is a dark and smoky incense fragrance. Yeah, very. It's a bit chalky, so dusty, powdery, dry, but smoky and resinous. It might create an amber effect in the base eventually because we've got some ambery touches, resins. But it's super spicy. It's not having or providing a lot of warmth here. So in the end, it's super dark, smoky, a bit church-like, but there's also some, dark and resinous qualities, maybe bordering leather, because it's getting quite dark and smoky, and it almost kind of tricks my nose to thinking there's leather. But also want to mention there's peppery touches as well. Incense and pepper kind of go hand in hand. They'll remind you of one another, so it's quite peppery as well. So that's actually a great price, 158 for a 100 ml bottle. Tester, as I said. And then we've got a winter spring, or is it winter spring? It looks like winter spring. I thought it was a winter spring. This is actually a feminine offering. It's a floral fragrance, and I think this one utilizes mimosa as a note. You'll smell it. Mimosa with its kind of powdery, lightly green and honeyed touches, a little almond smelling. It's definitely, I don't know why, with mimosa, I always associate it with a baby's face. It's kind of soft and gentle and, I don't know, I'm not associating the smell of the baby, but the texture of the baby is what I associate a lot of mimosa fragrances. So it's got that kind of a gentle quality. So if you like the lightly almondy touches, powdery, slight green and honey touches from the mimosa, this is definitely going to satisfy. And to me, it smells like mimosa for sure. So that's Winter's Spring. That is currently 100 ml for 175. So it's a great price for that. All right, next up, we've got one of the fragrances in the Waters collection. So they come in a 150 ml bottle for 150 ml for $100, or full presentation for $189. And these are what the Waters look like. So we've got three of them that I'm going to talk to you about. All three of them are 150 ml, $100 for tester, full presentation, $189. Some of them might not have the full presentation, but some of them do. There's three of them. The Moonlight Serenade is a really gorgeous lavender-focused fragrance, and it's not a super strong fragrance, so it's lighter to wear. But to me, this smells so super cozy and aromatic, spicy, and of course the lavender highlighted. It almost smells like a lavender soap to me. Really gorgeous. I actually really love lavender quite a bit. I was actually talking to somebody recently about lavender, and they said they don't like the smell of lavender. I think because they work with it or something. I can't remember exactly now. But if you like a more of a gentle experience with a fragrance, lighter, this is definitely one for you to try. It's called Moonlight Serenade. 150 ml for 100 for a tester. But we've got a few more. Let's go with a Winter Melody. This is it right here. This is also the same price, 150 ml for $100. These actually make great gifts, by the way. And all the products are tagged in the info box, so they'll come up while I'm talking about each of the fragrances. This is actually quite green and kind of succulent, luscious. Kind of developing into a little bit more of like a piney kind of an experience. But there's a frosted kind of experience with it, like snow-covered green piney kind of notes. Also really good. It reminds me of Christmas, actually. This smells like Christmas. And it's called a Winter Melody. Yeah, that's actually good. 150 ml for $100. Lovely fragrance. And then the last one in the series is Fading Autumn. So again, these are the waters, so they're not super strong. They're eau de toilette concentration, I believe. Let's see if I can see that right there. It's a bit small. I believe these are eau de toilette, not eau de cologne, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. So Fading Autumn is the one I don't know too much about. This seems to be a bit more warmer, spicier, a bit more ambery. There's definitely something golden about it. I'm almost thinking it's Immortelle, but I'm not 100% sure it is. But Immortelle always reminds me of autumn, so there we go. Fading Autumn. It kind of smells like Immortelle, but maybe the fact that it's autumn inspired, it's tricking my nose to smelling like that, because Immortelle, the everlasting flower, is got a very autumnal experience. So that's also 150 ml for $100. So again, these are lighter fragrances. All of the fragrances are tagged. In case you want to get any of them, you just click on the product as they come up. The next fragrance is a CHANT for the Nymph. So this is super honeyed and sweet and powdery and tropical floral. I think it's frangipani. Very tropical floral, but also super, super strong. It's almost sweet and strong to the point of a bit choking. It's very powdery also. Woo, yeah. But you'll definitely smell the tropical flowers. It's for sure frangipani, but I think it might be, what's the other floral note from the tropics? It's got a very tropical white yellow floral. There might even be ylang ylang in this one as well. So a CHANT for the spring, 100 ml for $145 for the tester. So those are really, really great prices. Now to the next page with a lot of selections here that I do not have and some I do have. And it looks like I skipped 1921, so I'm going to talk about it right now before I skip the page. 1921 is in the green bottle, and this is currently $145 for a tester, $210 for a full presentation. This is super green, juicy, citrusy, zesty. It's a freshie, really like something you would wear when it's extremely warm outside. It does have a little bit of an eau de cologne-like vibe, but super, like I said, super citrusy, lots of juicy citruses. There might be some spices in there to give it a bit more of a kick with the zing, but it's a bit simplistic, but invigorating for sure. So that is 1921 from the house of Gucci in their Alchemist Garden collection. So let's skip to the next fragrances. I've got a few more fragrances here, and then I'll talk about a few of the other fragrances. I did not realize I had these, go figure. I haven't been talking about this collection for a while. So this is Love at Your Darkest. So this is 100 ml for $150 currently. And I believe this is not Alberto Morillas from what I remember. This is spicy, woody, smoky, powdery, ambery, and aromatic. Yeah, it gives me a little bit of the idea of The Last Day of Summer, but in a different direction. I feel like there's a bit of more of a vanillic woods idea in this, whereas The Last Day of Summer didn't have the vanilla. It had more of an ambery woods. This is, see, it's nice. Yeah, it's pleasant. It could be like an everyday wear. It's also leaning masculine once again. Love at Your Darkest. So that is $150 for 100 ml. And the last bottle that I'm going to talk about with a few that I don't have here is A Reason to Love. This is from what I remember, this is an oud rose combo. Whereas I was telling you about the voice of the snake and a song for the rose can be layered. You might not need to do that. You can do it with this. This is like your traditional oud rose combo fragrance with, something like black oud and also, a gold rose oud. Something in that ballpark. There might be a bit fruitiness in this because I'm getting some light fruits hitting my nose from behind the scenes. But in the end, it's a, Western oud with the rose. It's jammy. So maybe the rose is providing some fruitiness, but I feel like there's a little bit of raspberry in this. That's actually good. Rosewood combos, there's a lot of them out there. And this one's Gucci's from the Alchemist Garden collection, A Reason to Love. Wait, did I? Yeah, I gave you the wrong prices for this. 100 ml for $160 for a tester. Full presentation, 100 ml for $245. So these last two fragrances are fairly newer, and I think everything except for these two were part of the original drop of Gucci's fragrances. These came out after, and the last two I spoke about, Love at Your Darkest and A Reason to Love, were some of the more recent ones. But a couple that I did not mention, Where My Heart Beats, 100 ml for $160. According to that, from what I remember, it's kind of floral and fresh and musky, maybe slightly Delina-esque, but more ozonic aquatic. I also didn't talk to you about Heart of Leo. The Heart of Leo. This is not heavily discounted, but still less expensive than what the suggested retail is. It's fruity, smoky, ambery, woody, and spicy. I haven't gotten those fragrances, so maybe perhaps I'll get them. Let's see. We've also got one more fragrance. It's a Floral Verse. And Floral Verse also comes in a kind of a green bottle, but not clear like this. It's more like a creamy green colored bottle. And I remember it being green and spicy and floral, like very spring floral, kind of with ozonic touches. But I've only gotten my nose on those a few times here and there. And perhaps I need to circle back to them. And that is selling for 100 ml for $160. But I think the strong ones in the collection, for sure. The Last Day of Summer, definitely worth it. Song for the Rose, really gorgeous rose. The Voice of the Snake, really, really wonderful. If you want something citrusy, 1921 should do. The Chant, A Chant for the Nymph is super honeyed, by the way. Really, really honeyed. So lots of tropical flowers and super honeyed. And then the two in the large bottles, Winter's Melody, really great smelling frosted piney kind of smell. Moonlight Serenade is more lavender. So these are great deals. Take advantage of these deals before they, stop or run out. I think I'll keep, sharing deals that I find with you guys, because there's some deals popping up, and in case you're in the market for some of these fragrances, you can take advantage of the deals. But let me know if you're a fan of this collection. What are your favorite fragrances? Do add a comment below. Thanks so much for watching today, this video, and stick around for more. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.